thousands of campaign workers and hundreds of national and international reporters running to and fro across the state. Mary embraced the excitement. She never missed a caucus, irrespective of how cold the January night. In the months preceding the night of the caucuses, pamphlets arrived at her door, and campaign workers, and sometimes the candidates themselves, called her home, cajoling her to caucus for them. Campaign advertisements blitzed the small media markets of Iowa, especially as the caucuses neared. The number of political ads, the percentage of allotted advertising time, and the negativity of the campaign messages have all increased across the past 4 decades. Mary grew weary of the scope, incivility, and content of the negative campaign messages. She found the incessant nature of these advertisements off-putting, unnecessary, unpleasant, and, by the end of the long campaign, annoying. To be sure, she still caucused, but she felt that the level of negativity was too high and her tolerance for this type of campaigning was low. Rita, Mary's daughter, was born and raised in Iowa and lives a few miles from where she grew up. Like Mary, Rita has a strong sense of civic duty and loves following political campaigns. She began tracking politics in earnest in the late 1980s and now is a veteran of 8 caucuses. She attends campaign rallies and finds her way to small venues where candidates are visiting with a couple of dozen people. She's bumped into more than one presidential hopeful in grocery stores and restaurants. The retail nature of campaigning in Iowa in the months preceding the caucuses suits her well. She receives a lot of attention from eager campaign staffers pursuing her to support their candidates. In fact, she's been called by and has talked directly to one president and one vice president of the United States. Both men were checking to be certain she was caucusing for them. Rita is nearly unfazed by the negative campaign messages and rhetoric exemplified in many of the television commercials. Withering attacks, especially against the rival party, are expected. She views harsh critiques of candidates as part and parcel of contemporary campaigns. She thinks that clear comparisons need to be drawn and highlighted between rival candidates because much is at stake in presidential elections. According to Rita, attacks need to be pointed, especially if they are true, harsh if necessary, and repeated over time. Rita, in contrast to Mary, has a much higher tolerance for negative campaigning. Although the variability in levels of tolerance is pronounced between Mary and Rita, they are both strong partisans and support the same team. They place themselves on the same side of the ideological scale, but are not rigid ideologues. They follow issues related to the nature of the times and routinely focus on the personality traits of the candidates. They have similar levels of civic responsibility and believe that government and politicians react to the broad concerns of the American electorate, sometimes successfully, but often not. Amid similarities in attitudes about candidates, campaigns, and the role of government, they vary considerably in their acceptance of negative campaign messages. The presidential caucuses pique the interest of large numbers of Iowans, and although non-presidential contests draw less attention, Mary and Rita follow dutifully and participate in those contests as well. Non-presidential campaigns in Iowa, similar to House, Senate, and gubernatorial campaigns across the nation, have become increasingly intense and negative, especially since 1994. Iowans were served by the same 2 senators for over 30 years. Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican, was elected in 1980, and Senator Tom Harkin, Democrat, was elected in 1984. Senator Harkin's retirement created an open seat for the 2014 senatorial election cycle, a highly polarized period in this traditional swing state. The stakes were high, and Iowans, predictably, were in for a Donnybrook. Republicans nominated State Senator Joni Ernst, and the Democrats countered with U.S. Congressman Bruce Braley, who represented Iowa's 1st congressional district. Pre-election polls indicated that the race would be close. In fact, the highly respected YouGov poll from late October 2014 had the race essentially tied. This was not surprising. After all, Iowans had elected a Republican.